Hello everybody, Don't Blink here again, and today I'm going to teach you how to optimize your Settings.ini file for Medal of Honor on the PC for the multiplayer component in order to maximize your in-game performance without suffering too much in terms of visual quality loss. So first thing you need to do is start up the multiplayer component of Medal of Honor, and that'll initialize all of the settings files. And then what you do is you need to go to your My Documents folder, so that's where I am right now, and then click on EA Games, Medal of Honor, Multiplayer, and then you'll see a number of files. The one you want to click on is Settings.ini. Don't click on Game Settings.ini, that can screw you up sometimes, mess with your previous servers list and stuff like that. So Settings.ini, and I'm going to maximize this here. And you'll see a number of settings. Not too many, it's not too complicated. And if you've seen my Battlefield Bad Company 2 Settings.ini optimization video, then this is probably pretty familiar to you. But anyway, first thing you want to do is set your resolution to the one you want to play at. I set mine to 1080p because that's my monitor's native resolution. But if you're having trouble keeping your frame rates up, you might want to set it, down a couple notches. So in my case, I might set it to 720p or something similar. And the next thing I do is I always turn on VSync. I like having no screen tearing when playing my games. It's very distracting to me. But that's just me. If you like to have really high frame rates, you can go ahead and keep that on false, and you'll keep your high frame rates and won't have to deal with VSync decreasing your frames per second. Next thing I'd recommend doing is decrease your sound quality to medium. The sound in Medal of Honor is very nice. DICE is known for their sound design, but it also takes up a lot of CPU cycles, so I recommend keeping that on medium. I haven't noticed a difference between the medium quality setting and the high quality setting in terms of audio quality, but it definitely has an effect on your frame rate. And then I've already set all of my settings to medium in the in-game menu, but some things you might want to look at in terms of increasing your frames per second without too much quality loss would be overgrowth and undergrowth. Maybe set those to low. That's just like the grass on the ground and stuff like that, bushes and things like that. And next thing that'll really help your frame rate is reduce shadows. If you're having a really tough time, reduce shadows to medium, reduce them to low, and that should increase your frame rates. The shadows aren't quite as important in Medal of Honor as they are in Battlefield Bad Company 2, because there aren't quite as many dynamic shadows in this game, but it's still important. And then the next thing I do is I reduce bloom from medium to low. Not only does it increase your frame rate, but it will also make it easier to see. On the snow maps especially, bloom being set to medium, it's like blinding how high the bloom is. So I set it to low, it makes it easier to see, and it also increases my frame rate, so that's nice. HSAO, definitely set that to false. You're really not going to notice this effect unless you're looking for it, and it kills your frame rate. Anti-aliasing, I set that to 0 just because I am playing at 1080p, but if you're playing at 720p, you might want to set that to 1 or 2, just because you're going to get a lot of aliasing at those lower resolutions. But I set it to 0, that way I keep my frame rates up. And then I keep my textures on high just because I like the sharp textures with high resolutions and stuff like that. Anisotropic filtering, you can change that. I set mine to 4 just because, like I said, I like having sharp textures, but setting it to 2 or to 1 might be helpful for your frame rates. And finally, render ahead limit. I always set that to 0. I've heard reports of some people gaining as many as 20 frames per second when they set that to 0 from 2. So this can definitely help your frame rates. And then finally, this is just a personal thing, but the field of view setting, it's standard at 55, but I like to set mine to 70, which is the equivalent of about 101 in most games. So that's why I do that. I know a lot of people set theirs to like 65 or 60, but I set mine to 70. And yeah, you're just going to have to experiment with that setting, see which one you like. But anyway, I hope this was helpful to some of you guys. Hopefully you'll be able to increase your frame rates without suffering too much in terms of quality loss. And I'll see you on the battlefield. Bye.